Hello everyone, in today's video we'll be testing a classic question. Can a helicopter fly backwards as fast as it can fly forwards? Now, this one actually came from one of my students, and I'm looking at them going, nah, I don't think so. But you know what? For science, we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. So what we have here is the H-125, a solid helicopter. We're at Edwards Air Force Base. The reason I picked Edwards is because you have a lot of room. It makes it really easy, especially if you accidentally or something along those lines. So let's go ahead and get this thing going here. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit of the good stuff. Kind of lift a few inches off the ground. Not the smoothest takeoff, but again, we're not going to be very smooth with this helicopter today. That is for darn sure. So the first thing I want to do is see just how fast I can get this thing going in a straight line. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use our little GPS over here in the corner. It's got a little tiny number down there that kind of gives us a little heads up as to what speed. So let me go ahead and freeze in the sky real quickly there. There we go. Let's go ahead and open up that display. I'll go ahead and pull it out here so y'all can take a look at it as we're kind of cruising around. When I did this video the first time, of course, so you can guess what happened when I opened that display up. Yeah, that was annoying. So anyway, let's see what we got. So I'm going to go ahead and give this thing some collective here. I'm not being nice to this helicopter in any shape or form. I am just trying to see what I can get out of it. Let's see here. We're basically peak torque, peak temp. We're just going to enjoy that for a few moments. And we're getting about 70 knots. I know this thing can get up to about $1.25. Let's give it a little more collective. Come on, Mr. Helicopter. Show me what you got. There we go. Right into the yellow. Let's do it. It's 100 knots right there. We're hoofing. Oh boy, I'm running out of forward cyclic here, so you know we're booking. I like how that little monitor up there at the top, that is like the absolute most fake little version of the GTN 650 I think I've ever seen. But you know what's great? It works, so I'm not complaining. All right, that's about 120 knots, so we're moving pretty darn fast down the runway here. That's quick. That's quick. That's definitely not bad. Let's go ahead and reduce some speed here and get ready for part two, which is going to be how fast does this thing go backwards? Oh, my goodness, the things I do for science sometimes. All right, let's settle in. Oh, boy, I don't like this. I do not like this one bit. There we go. And again, I love helicopters. I just pull back just a little bit, and all your RPMs go shooting through the roof, and so does your altitude, but that's okay. I get down to translational lift here. I'm guessing maybe 50, maybe 60 knots if we're lucky. Again, with all helicopters, it's going to get very challenging very quickly. Okay. Oh, this is so wrong. I'm going to go ahead and wait until we get a little bit more level here. We're sinking a bit. Nope, we're starting to sink into vortex ring state here, which is not desirable. Fortunately, we're pretty light, so it's not that bad. There we go. All right, we're about 0 knots. We're still sinking a little bit here. We need a little bit more torque. The incredible thing is I'm not carrying much of a load here. All right, there we go. Nice. All right, let's go backwards. Oh, I don't like this at all. Okay. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness. I do not like this. Okay, that's about 40 knots. Whoa. Whoa. I'm starting to get a little... Oh, goodness. Oh, my God. 61 knots. 61... Oh! And there's the weather vane effect. Okay, so it was about 65 knots. It's definitely not 120 knots. All right, so I think it's safe to say that because of the weather vane effect on a helicopter, and again, if you've ever flown without a tail, you don't know what the weather vane effect is. But the reality is this helicopter wants to fly in a straight line as speed picks up, and that's one of the reasons why we don't need as much anti-torque pedal as we get going. So, you know, for science, let's do a little more science here. I'm going to go ahead and throw this entire helicopter into a skid here. We're going to fly sideways for a moment and give it a little bit more. There we go. All right, what about sideways? Let's go find out. So I'm going to go ahead and tip this way. I'm losing about 600 feet per minute, but that's okay. It's about 42 knots. I'm out of cyclic. No! And the weather vane effect got us again. It's pretty obvious to me that I don't think you're going to be getting up to 120 knots no matter what you do with this helicopter backwards or sideways. And I mean, it was tough enough to get up to 120 knots in a straight line going forwards, so I'm pretty safe to say that whatever they assume you could do with this is just not possible. But there's still one more stupid thing we have to do with this helicopter, because I've not exactly been nice to this one, so we might as well, you know, finish the job, so to speak. So let me go ahead and build up a little bit of speed here. Again, take advantage of the fact we've got that little instrument to help us out with vertical speed. I'm going to nose over, which we never do in a helicopter. I know. And let's do one more naughty thing while we're being naughty with the helicopter today. Okie doke. And we're just going to go right over the top. Oh! Terrain. Oh my goodness. We did it! Don't ever do that in a helicopter, please. So as we can see, it is just not possible. Helicopters are way too stable Wow, that's a sentence I never thought I'd say before. In the forward direction to enable you really to do anything that ridiculous. But the reality is 60 knots is pretty darn fast going backwards. And not to mention 60 knots is really fast going sideways. That's about the landing speed of a Cessna 172 that way. Gosh, that's crazy. Aren't helicopters cool? Enjoy.